Next on the agenda, Jude, 24 CUP 241, short-term rental on Everett Avenue.
Jude Mattingly, Office of Planning. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the service you do for our community. That was sincere. I did mean that sincerely.
Say that again, Jude. I'm sorry.
Ask.
Okay, so before you today is a conditional use permit to allow short-term rentals of a duplex at 1060 Everett Avenue. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The property is zoned R5B in a traditional neighborhood form district. The applicant has stated that Unit 1 contains 3 beds for a maximum of 8 occupants. Unit 2, 1 bedroom, maximum of 4 guests. There's a combination of off-street parking. There's a few off-street parking spots in the rear of the property with on-street parking available in the area. Next slide, please. Here's a zoning map. This area is unique in the sense that there is a blend of different types of intensity in residential zoning. And then obviously you have the Barchtown Road commercial corridor. Next slide, please. An aerial of the subject property. Next slide, please. The subject property is the yellow property, image taken from Google Street View in 2023. I think the applicant's presentation will contain some more up-to-date photos in which they've done some landscaping and such in the front. Next slide, please. Just some side context for you for Everett Avenue. It's not unlike your other, neighborhood streets. This is just looking east and west down it. And staff's finding is that the proposal is adequately justified for approval based on staff's analysis of the standard of review. At this time, there are no short-term rentals approved via conditional use permit within 600 feet. Next slide, please. And then your required actions will be to either approve or deny the conditional use permit. And I'm here for any questions that you might have.
Yes.
Jude, was there any feedback from neighbors of the neighborhood, either negative or positive?
So I did not receive any public comment. The applicant stated in their neighborhood meeting summary that the only thing that really came up, of which they're going to address by installing noise monitoring, technology, I guess that would be the appropriate way to refer to it as. But besides that, according to their summary and with me not hearing anything, I haven't, besides potential noise concerns, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask the applicant to approach the podium, please. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give today is the truth?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Caroline Tomasik, 1060 Everett Avenue. And thank you, Jude, for that presentation. Thank you. So I'm applying for the conditional use permit today for a short-term rental of this property. My partner, Evan, and I both work for small companies in the area. And we've always loved the Cherokee Triangle neighborhood. Recently, earlier this year, we saw this property for sale. We knew it needed some TLC for sure, but we saw the potential. And so this is some before and after of the upkeep we've done to the house, including removing a dangerous tree in the walkway that was leaning onto the public sidewalk, landscaping, and then making improvements throughout the inside of the home as well to take it back to its original historic charm. It was built in 1910 and we really love that. So restoring hardwood floors and really making it a beautiful home once again. So I have previously managed a short-term rental property for a family member, giving me the necessary hands-on experience to manage this property as well. I know how to proactively manage by creating house rules that inhibit, guests from throwing parties, for example, a proper vetting of guests, requiring IDs to be verified before booking the property, and only allowing guests who have previous 5-star reviews to be able to book, as well as Jude mentioned, monitoring the property through external cameras and through noise monitoring technology so that I will be notified of any activity before any neighbors could even notice, hopefully. So thank you so much. Oh, and
Oh.
any questions?
Yes, any questions for Ms. Tomasik?
Well, I have one. Was this a single family home you turned into a duplex, or was it a duplex when you bought it?
It's a duplex. Yes.
So, Ms. Tomasik, are you aware of the requirements to register if this is approved? Register for a short-term rental
Yes.
and the annual registration requirement.
Yes.
Any other questions? So parking, and maybe you said this and I didn't.
Yeah, so there's a 3-car garage in the back and then a driveway that could accommodate 3 more spots. So 6 on the property, and then off-street parking on Everett as well. Or sorry, on-street parking, I meant on Everett Avenue as well.
So I see where occupancy in one unit, there are 3 bedrooms, which will allow you to have 8. In the other unit, there's 1 bedroom, which would allow you to have 4 people. Is your intent to accommodate up to 12 people if you had both units rented?
No, as my understanding is that it's 2 units separately that would remain.
Right,
As
but
such.
you would have, if you were to have contracts for both, for each of those units, is it your intent to allow up to 12 people in the 2 units? Do you see what I'm saying? 8 in one and 4 in the other
Yes,
At the same time?
at the same time, right?
if that's permitted.
Okay, okay.
But you can park, did I understand you to say 6 cars on site, 3 in the garage and 3 in the
On a driveway, yes.
Okay.
And if that's a concern, we could limit the cars for the occupants.
Who will be taking care of this property?
Me.
You're going to mow the lawn and do all that?
I'm sorry?
You're going to mow the lawn and work the outside?
Yeah, I actually put the sod down myself that you saw in the front and all of that. I have renovation experience. My future mother-in-law is here with me, and we have family members who work in hardscaping, contracting. And so not only do I have hands-on experience where I can show you, but also, yes.
I'd be looking for extra help.
Yeah. If you want any properties, ask
How
me.
far do you live from this location?
So I'm currently living in the property.
Okay, but,
Yes.
okay, so you're living in it now?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I have a speaker card for Mr. Holes. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm well,
Long
thank
day
you.
for you.
Pardon me?
Long day for you all.
We've had longer. Yes. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give today is the truth?
I do.
Name and address.
Tim Holtz, 1044 Everett Avenue. I live just down the street from the said property. But more importantly, I was part of an over 4-year neighborhood planning process with the planning and development group that was adopted for Cherokee and Bonnie Castle neighborhoods in March or April of this year. And that, of course, as you know, corresponded with much of the work on the land development code around short-term rentals. And so we worked closely with that, and it informed both our plan and some of the work that was done around short-term rentals, because we have had traditional problems with non-owner occupied short-term rentals within the neighborhood, particularly those that allow over 10 people at a time. So as a result of that, in that plan, there are several sections that relate. There's a whole section relating specifically to short-term rentals under the land use code. One is, the first is under our goal of encouraging context-sensitive residential development to make sure that short-term rental laws are followed and are up on, and to keep up to date with changes that need to be done with that. But objective 2.9 is to encourage and support non-owner occupied short-term rentals to prioritize being located along our commercial corridor. We are completely covered on one side by the Bardstown Road, Baxter Avenue corridor. And so this plan is asked that non-owner occupied short-term rentals be focused towards that commercial corridor as opposed to buried within the neighborhood. And then the other part of that, as if you're familiar with our neighborhood, housing there has gotten extremely expensive. And we want to make sure that we can do what we can to keep it as affordable as possible. And we know when you convert a residential property from a long-term living facility to a profit-making entity, like a duplex where you've got 2 units you can rent continuously, that it increases the demand value for that, and people will pay more for that, which affects the affordability of other housing around it. So those 2 pieces are part of that. We certainly are not opposed to short-term rentals. We have the second highest tier density with 40 to 72 short-term rentals per census tract in this particular census tract that we're looking at here. We don't mind if you live there because you're going to deal with anything that we're going to have to deal with. We're not going to have to call. You're going to be that monitoring equipment is great, but we haven't seen that necessarily that work before. And like I said, we've had significant problems with them in the past. As the young lady said, she lives there at the public meeting, which you didn't get notes from. One of the things we said we would be, the people that were there would not be opposed if they are living in one of those 2 units and renting the other one out, because they're going to deal with everything that we deal with. The immediate people next door, because one of the main entrances is on the side. So you have to go, and if you've been in the Highlands, down one of those 10-foot hand-to-hand house walkways to get into one of these units. So you've got people coming and going directly in between the houses. And so, like I said, I would not be opposed to this if it was an owner-occupied short-term rental, because we have lots of them. But we would like for the future to keep those non-residential units focused towards the commercial corridor, away from the central heart of the residential areas. And this is completely surrounded on all sides by full residential properties. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
What was the document you were reading from?
The Cherokee Triangle Bonnie Castle neighborhood plan adopted in March, April of this year.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be happy to.
So it did not prohibit short-term rentals within the neighborhood, but it encouraged short-term rentals.
Non-residential short-term rentals to focus along the commercial corridor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Members, any questions for Mr. Holtz? Don't believe so, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have someone online.
Okay.
Amy Wells, you're able to unmute yourself and start your video.
Oh,
Ms. Wells?
can you hear me?
I can. Can you turn your video on? Are you able to do that?
Can I do this? Yeah. Hold on just 1 minute. I'm sorry.
Are you able to turn your video on?
Yes.
Okay. Raise your right hand so that I can swear you in. There you go. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth?
I do.
Name and address.
Amy Wells, 1056 Everett Avenue.
And are you speaking in opposition, Ms. Wells?
I am.
Or, please proceed.
Right next door to 1060. And in fact, I'm the neighbor Tim was referencing, where there's just a little walkway between our 2 homes. Really, I just wanted to reiterate what Tim mentioned, which is that I'm not really opposed to owner-occupied short-term rental, but I am really concerned about non-owner-occupied. And knowing that they live there right now, I guess what I'm asking is, can we approve what's the case today, which is that they're there, rather than, what could potentially happen in the future. I think, any neighbor feels that, things are better when the owner is there versus when they're not. And then suddenly I'm becoming sort of the unwilling caretaker for what may go on next door. As I said, she's done great things to the house. I think, to me, it'll be fun as long as they're there. But I am very, very concerned about why this is being approached as a non-owner-occupied place when they actually live there currently. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, any questions, members?
Well, Joel, just for clarification, I think I understand this because we hear this quite a bit. But 3 complaints and the 3 substantiated complaints.
2.
2 substantiated complaints of noise or whatever disturbs the neighborhood, and you lose your short-term license or CUP. Remind me what that is.
Yes, well, with two verified complaints, the director essentially revokes the registration, and then we can bring it back forward. We can bring it back to the Board of Zoning Adjustment to have a revocation hearing, and the board can revoke the conditional use permit if there's 2 or more substantiated civil complaints, civil or criminal complaints.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Mr. Beta.
So I guess 2 issues arise. I'm not really sure who to ask of this. So either staff or the Commonwealth Attorney or a combination of the 2, but just so that we're asked in while we're still in open hearing. Number 1, are you privy to or have you seen any studies that indicate that the incidence of complaints derived from owner-occupied versus non-owner-occupied is a different incidence, that it's a pronounced more increase, greater frequency of complaints from non-owner occupied compared to owner occupied? Do we have any access to that kind of?
I don't think there's any data that I'm privy to that would somehow indicate that one is significantly more intrusive than the other as far as complaints go. I mean, even when you register as a owner occupied short-term rental, there is nothing that requires you to be there while guests are there. The emergency contact has to live within 25 miles of the property. They have to provide their contact information. That information should be disseminated to the neighborhood. In the event of an emergency, someone is supposed to be in close proximity to be responsible to address it. But as far as like a study that would show some kind of disparity between the 2, I don't have any kind of knowledge about that. I'm not sure that that exists.
Thank you. Second question, and this may not be for you, but so is there in fact any policy that would indicate that the land development code has supremacy over neighborhood development plans?
So neighborhood plans are adopted essentially as amendments to the comprehensive plan. So in the specific instance of short-term rentals, I mean, what the board would be looking for is in instances of relief, not necessarily the opposite direction, where, I think a neighborhood plan could certainly frown upon them. But neighborhood plans don't create rules. They're guiding documents. And they're designed to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. So neighborhood plans are not regulatory documents in that they don't provide us laws and regulations. They provide us guidance on how to then go about making land use decisions as a function of the comprehensive plan. So in this case, you've got a neighborhood plan that encourages something, but it is not a regulation or a law that says it cannot happen and prohibits it.
And typically what we say about neighborhood plans is they are something you can consider, but they are not controlling.
Other questions?
I had one. Are you under the impression then, since they're asking for 2 units, that that is the plan, that they would move elsewhere?
And we've got the applicant in rebuttal who still has to give rebuttal, so you could ask the applicant that question directly. I mean, in other cases, sometimes what's happened is they go ahead and get it for both so that they have flexibility in the future.
Okay.
And I will say you can only register the unit that you're residing in. So just, I know that there are 2 units within the same building, but technically you only actually live in one of them. So one of them would require the conditional use permit, even if they were living in the other one, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It does. Okay. All right. Ms. Tomasik, you have 5 minutes for rebuttal.
in regards to those neighborhood plans, I just wanted to say I am a member of the Cherokee Triangle Association. I've spoken to the Cherokee Triangle president, who is fine with this proposal. So maybe the neighborhood plans, were previous, but it's not, no one has talked to me about that until this moment. The other thing is we are living there right now. As Mrs. Ferguson said, it's for the flexibility if the situation were to arise, but we are on the premises. And then in regards to the previous neighbor's comments, we do have an entrance that's on the side that's with Mrs. Wells' property, and that was brought up as a concern at the neighborhood meeting. So because of that, we've decided to have guests enter through the back, through that driveway, and therefore it's all fenced off and will not be in contact with Mrs. Wells.
So at this point, you do live on the property,
Yes.
and you're seeking the CUP. Is your intent to move, or are you just seeking the CUP so that you'll have the flexibility?
The second one, just the flexibility if the situation were to arise that we do decide to move. But as of now, we both work in the area very close by, 5 minutes away. Our family's there. I mean, we're in the area, like rooted.
Okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Closing the public hearing, we're in deliberations on 24 CUP 241, short-term rental on Everett Avenue. Members, any discussion? We don't have a 600-foot issue on this one, but we do have the duplex. And if both units were rented at the same time, you're looking at a possibility of 12 individuals any given at that time. Again, if both were rented.
I guess, well, one thing I've learned about this owner occupied, and thanks for reminding me of that. They don't have to be there when it is rented. I think most people feel like, well, the owner's there when the renter's there, so therefore nothing's going to happen. But it's come up in case after case. We've had people ask for short-term rentals simply because they're not there half the time, even
This
though
needs
it's
to
their
be the
primary. Yeah.
Yes.
So that in and of itself does not give me any comfort. The two substantiated complaints, I think, is a pretty strict enforcement policy if they're renting to folks that do cause problems in the area. But, parking always comes up as an issue. And while this one has more parking than most, 12 people could show up in more than 6 cars. So I don't know whether it's worth a condition that the number of cars be limited. They can do that in their house rules, right?
Yeah, they could add house rules. I mean, I think with the occupancy situation we have here with respect to a duplex, the 12 that they've proposed, the 8 in one and the 4 in the other, is no different than the maximum occupancy that a single family dwelling would be permitted. If you had 5 bedrooms, for instance, which a lot of older homes in this neighborhood have 5 bedrooms.
Yeah.
They're 2.5, 3 stories, 3,000 square feet. So with respect to the occupancy, and I think this was a conversation last time that somebody had a duplex or 2 units, the conversation was around, okay, well, you're essentially doubling up on the occupancy and getting more than would be appropriate for if a single family home was on this property. And the property didn't get any bigger. The units just got smaller in these cases. And so I think with this case, they've got 8 and 4, which is the maximum you're going to be able to have for occupancy. And that would be what would be permitted for a single family home. And so ask yourself, if this is the occupancy that would be permitted in a single family home, does this materially change how the property will be used simply because it's 2 units and 2 separate short-term rental contracts.
And how many on-street parking would be assumed for a lot?
For this property, they depending on the width, if it's 35 feet wide, they're only getting 1 space, 20-foot minimums. If it was 36, they could squeeze in another because we'd count 1 space at 16 feet if we needed to. I mean, it's an urbanized area, so we don't really rely on parking. If someone were to build a multifamily structure at this location with 100 units, they would require 0 parking because it's a traditional neighborhood.
And there is an R7, 2 lots over, which I assume is multifamily.
Yeah, R7's a multifamily zoning district. I mean, the short-term rental that you have before you, they're not asking for any relief. They're not within 600 feet of another short-term rental. So, I mean, it's a short-term rental that's in 100% compliance with the land development code and the lettered standards.
And did you mention R7 because you thought it might
Well,
result in,
he was just saying that multifamily in this neighborhood doesn't have a parking requirement, correct? And there is 1, 2 lots over, so why put it on this house when if it was just an apartment building, it wouldn't have any requirement? Isn't that what you're getting at, Joel?
Yes.
okay. Any other discussion? Based on the testimony and what's in the staff report, the information in the staff report, is anyone ready to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion regarding case number 24 CUP 0241, short-term rental at 1060 Everett Avenue. Request for a conditional use permit to allow short-term rental of dwelling units that are not the primary residence of the owner, according to Land Development Code 4.2.63. I move that we approve the request based on the standards of review and the staff report and the testimony we've heard today, with the 2 conditions of approval on page 8 of 8.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve 24 CUP 241. Please call for a vote.
Beta,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Horton,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
and Bond.
Yes, the CUP has been approved. Thank you.